Good morning. I'm glad you're all here today. We have some good and interesting things to talk about today. So call the meeting to order of community service on July 19th. We'll start with our roll call, please.
Ms. Weber?
Present.
Ms. Parker? Present. Ms. Polk?
Present.
Mr. Snipes? Ms. Peters? Present. Mr. Tholen? Mr. Carrico? Present. Mr. Kirkstra? Mr. Eckhoff? Ms. Hudson? Present. Mr. Smith?
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand?
Present.
Mr. Raymond?
Present.
Mr. Wheeler? Present. Mr. Seroy? We have a quorum.
Thank you. I haven't any request for a public comment, so we'll go forward to the next part. You've received the minutes from May 17th and June 21 on email to you. I wanted to comment that I appreciate Kelly writing the minutes and writing them correctly. Even if I don't use the right people's names, she makes it right for us, so I appreciate you doing the minutes. So Ms. Hudson, you want to move that we accept both of them? Okay, Mr. Alexander, would you like to do that too? Second it. All in favor of accepting those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Say no. Motion carried. Okay, next is Mr. Hendrickson for the county clerk's report. He doesn't have one of those, but we'll pick that up another time. He has something even more fun.
Fun.
Oh.
That's what we're all about today. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Today we have the ballot placement lottery. So we will be doing this. We're doing this on the YouTube, so all of the million people on the internet can watch. And so for transparency, I will need a Republican representative to draw. Any volunteers? Mrs. Parker, you want to come on up? Ms. Hudson, you are the only Democratic representative here. Do you want to come on up?
Yes.
Mr. Evans is here representing the Libertarian Party. Do you want to come on up? I have 3 blank envelopes. Those of you that remember the old Tonight Show, they've been sealed in a mayonnaise jar overnight on Funk and Wagnall's porch. As the Republican candidate, as the Republican Party had the highest number of votes in the 2020 election for a single candidate, Mrs. Parker, you have the choice of drawing first.
Well, explain what's in the secret envelope.
In those envelopes are the numbers 1, 2, and 3, which will indicate which place on the ballot the party will receive.
In all positions.
All races.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh.
The price is right.
Okay, go ahead and open it up.
Ooh.
Oh boy, this is going to be scary.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Parker drew number 2. Ms. Hudson. Okay. And Ms. Hudson drew number 3. So the Democrats will be third. Mr. Evans, come on up. Just to make sure that I did not
Miscount.
Put 2 3s in there or something.
Show that camera. Number 1, the Libertarians have the top spot on the ballot. Republicans are second, and the Democrats are third. If I could get you all to sign here as witnesses and drawers.
Right next to it? Or just under?
Right down there is perfectly fine. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you all very much. Does anybody have any questions about this or anything else in particular? Alrighty, that's all I had for today.
But is this the way it always is?
There is always a lottery for ballot placement for every election that has partisan candidates. So historically we've done it in our office, but with the availability of YouTube, we can broadcast that to everybody and who's watching. So
It's really Fine. So I guess I'd ask did you feel that your new equipment worked really well and improved things?
I was very, very happy with Election Day. I thought that the new equipment was well received by everybody that participated. Always like to have more people participating, but it is the nature of the election. So, but yes, I thought the equipment was really well. The judges liked it. They thought that the setup was significantly better than what it was before, and the voters were happy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And taking down therefore was as easy too. Wasn't
Exactly.
it? And getting a ballot on that touch screen, or however you want to call it.
The Freedom Vote tablet, the touch screen, yes. Yeah, the voters who required to vote on that, or needed to vote on that, or just wanted to vote on that, they were actually given something tactile that they could hold in their hand to take to the ballot box, the same ballot box that every other ballot's cast in. So yes, very positive experience for everybody that participated.
What hour did your evening end?
I got home a little bit after 11 o'clock that night. So.
Is that sooner than usual?
A little bit later than usual. We did have some people, because it's the first time with the equipment, we're just wanting to make sure that they did everything according to Hoyle, and that's okay.
It sure is.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that? Thank you for your letting us see that.
Absolutely.
Always get to see that.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Blair, your report. In your packet, you have the Supervisor of Assessments report. And Mr. Raymond, would you move that we accept it? Ms. Parker, you second it? All in favor of accepting that report, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion is carried. Okay, you have a couple pages, and I'll have your microphone turned on. Okay, it's on now.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I just have a few things to go over with you this morning. Some things that we were able to accomplish in the last few weeks, and then some things that we're looking forward to. So we did hold the annual Farmland Assessment Review Committee meeting in June. That went off without any problems. They approved to use the PI values that were set by the state, and that's just like every year. So that was not a problem at all. I wanted to let the committee know that I had talked about Census Township redistricting last month, and I sent all of the information out to all of the township supervisors, township clerks, and township assessors on that. I had a deadline of August 1st to get that done. I didn't propose any changes, so I don't expect them to come back with any suggestions on anything different, but they need to get back to me by, I believe it's September 15th if they wanted to change something, but I'm not anticipating anything. Also wanted to let the committee know this morning that I have received some of the township assessment changes. Some of the townships have submitted their changes so far, and I do have scheduled return of the remaining changes by the end of this month, which would keep us on par with the last several years. As long as the townships that have not returned their books yet do by the end of the month, we should be just fine. Once we do that and get all of the changes in the system, then I'll be able to move into the Supervisor of Assessments level, where I have they have another chance to change values if they want to. I also have a chance to review and make a change if I need to, and then we'll move into equalization and publication and notification of assessments, which I'm still hopeful we'll be able to keep the same timeline as prior years by the middle of September and publish, so that the 30-day window ends in the middle of October and we can get into the Board of Review and things like that. So that was my report for the morning. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Is there a question? What on the second page about the community report of where it says copy maps, what would I come to your office to ask for a copy of?
Sure. So it could be that you need a copy of the ownership of a property, and we would print out a parcel report, or maybe you want to know what the most recent value of a parcel is. That could be, or a property record card if you wanted to know the square footage of a home, the year built, that kind of thing. So we do charge 50 cents per page when somebody comes in and requests things like that. So that's the copy part. The map part, sometimes people want maps of a certain area. An 8.5 by 11 map, I believe, is $2, and if they want the large format plotter maps, those are $15. And so sometimes we do sell a few of those as well.
And those are valuable items for a person interested in a parcel, for sure.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Is it same day service?
Yeah, I mean, we do get it. I mean, the plotter maps we're able to print in probably just a few minutes while they stand at the counter, and the rest of it is just as simple as hitting a button and printing an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So it's really fast, and it's right there, service right in the moment.
Thank you. The second and only other question I have is, remember last time we talked about the township map, and it was approved and sent where you needed to send, but there was that little part that was going to be maybe suggested for change. Do you know the progress of that? Is that Mr. Wheeler?
That would be something that I would probably defer to the chairman.
After talking with the state's attorney's office, it was too long of a process to fit in the time frame that Eric had to respond by. They thought it would be something to look at it in 10 years. So I put it in my reminder file for when I'm here in 10 years to do it then, because I will be here.
But it was
so it's nothing we can really do right now without a long research project.
Yeah.
Could it be done now? Should it have been done at redistricting? All of those things. So the cost benefited, and it didn't fit, and we still wouldn't have an answer. It's that big of a project.
It was a very good idea to help the voters in that area. That was it about.
They would have actually saved tax dollars too in Sun River Terrace.
So on your reminder folder, calendar would be a good idea. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Eric. Have you anything else?
I do not. Have a good day, folks.
Thanks for your report. Okay, we'll go to the reporter, Ms. Gabois. You want to come forward, and where are we to? Mr. Smith. Would you move that we accept his report, or her report? Okay, Mr. Carrico, the second. All in favor of accepting the recorder's report, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. You did? Was there an nay to record? Motion is carried anyway. Okay, what do you have for today?
Well, first, my apologies. I have an error on my spreadsheet. Actually, it was a test just to see who's really reading it. I know it's a lot of numbers. No, really, it was my error. You'll see all the way to the end where it says total and then deposits. Because I have to hard put that number in, I actually duplicated a number. So if you look at the total line, the $1,052,475.66 is the correct bottom line number year to date, calendar or fiscal year to date.
Instead of the 10364.
Yes.
Okay.
So I apologize for that.
But it's even better is it's a bigger number.
Right. It's true. It's true. So other than that, it's just my report this month. Nothing really new to answer or offer. Unless you have questions, I can answer.
We just catch up. We have a date for August?
Not yet.
No, we don't have an August date yet. We'll have to wait more. So,
Yeah.
And tell us again what we're waiting for. You're following up on?
I did receive notification. The paper came in.
Oh, yes.
So now they're printing the 22 books. Then they have to bind them. So it's just not as quick as, like Eric said, printing at the counter. And then drive them up from Springfield. So I don't want to create disappointment, so I'm actually going to focus out more towards September.
Okay. But we won't forget, and you won't forget. And
No, absolutely not.
You'll want it to really show us that
Yes,
once it gets done.
absolutely.
So won't that be fun to have all those books? And
it would be.
Is there something else on your agenda then?
Well, we're still working on the back indexing from the original 155,000 images that we put into our system. We did run into a situation with 1966 fiche cards are pretty much damaged.
Oh,
So staff, we ordered the roll film from Springfield. Staff is in the process now in-house duplicating that year so that we have it for searchers or anyone who's needing an image from 1966. So
there's a solve to it. There's
yeah, yeah,
a long and
it's you know, just a little kind of curve in the road that you know, we are on board with and managing. So
Have you had any persons come in to change their plat that
not yet.
to the
No.
wording that's appropriate?
No.
But it's
No.
there whenever it's needed.
Yes, so we are ready. I did complete a centennial farm for a local farm family just last week, so that was exciting for them. So
To make it memorable or
yes, they'll get
historic
their centennial plaque. They're actually 137 years old, so we're already talking about their 150 years. So yeah.
And just for the ending of it, forecast? Do you have a forecast of buildings being sold and the market?
It's every day, you know, it's like the market. You cannot predict what's going on. So
Don't
interest
try.
rates going up, things slow down a little bit. But I'll tell you, building and transfer of property is still happening.
Just take a look.
Yeah. This month we are probably close to what we ended last month at, just on the 19th of July. So for state stamps.
Oh,
So, which is a good thing.
yeah. And
So.
that's always the largest number on your sheet.
Right, and that's what tells you value what has transferred, dollar per
Oh,
thousand.
dollar.
Yes.
Anything else?
Any other questions, concerns? You're always welcome to stop in on the second floor, take a look around, ask questions, meet the staff, whatever.
Yep,
So
I appreciate that invitation, and we'll count on you having us later.
absolutely formally, but the door is always open.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Next on our agenda, Animal Control with Carrie Laird. And Ms. Peters, would you move that we accept her report?
Oh, yeah.
Ms. Hudson, we're back to you. You want to second the report for Animal Control? All in favor of accepting the Animal Control report, say aye. Any opposed? Say
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, looking at our report, what would you like to highlight, and then we'll see if we have questions.
There's really not a whole lot of change. The intake is higher than we've had in the past. We do have 9 adoptable dogs right now. Normally we haven't had adoptables because shelters have been able to pull them. They've been slow to pull, still pulling a little bit, but we do have 9 adoptables at our building right now. So, which is odd since I've been there. We have not had adoptables publicly. So that's something new. And it's hard to show animals in our building, which hopefully the new building will be able to show them better. We currently have 2 torn out walls in our building looking for a leak. Yeah, it's a mess right now. So
Aye.
yeah.
So we talked to past 2 months about a veterinarian area, I think 2 that had not paid their bills or given you the amount due. And what was your report on that? Is that what the 30,000 is?
Some of it is they did come in and pay April, so now they still owe May and June. One veterinarian's office does, and usually along with that is their certificates. They're supposed to give them to us immediately, as soon as they can by the end of the month. But they get a certificate so we can wait on the payment a little bit. But yeah, they've still been slow to pay us.
But the records are there, so eventually.
Right. Yep. We're getting the records put in. So
Your village revenue, is that up to date too then?
that is, yes. That includes our recent contract with Grant Park. So we have started with them July 1st. I think the resolution was signed the 12th at the county board meeting. So we are now contracted with Grant Park as well.
Okay, we're going to look at the IPTIP fund. What do you say the balance is?
$552,000.
Okay, we're going to talk about that number in just a minute. $552. So on inventory then, looking at dogs and cats, are those to date that you have 48 animals? It says 19 and 29.
So that was the beginning of June.
June,
So the end
okay.
of June we had 18 and 17. We probably have close to that right now.
35 animals and
Close to that, yeah. And half of those dogs are adoptable.
half of the dogs.
Actually, I think almost every, maybe we only have about a dozen dogs right now, knock on wood. And most of them, yeah, like I said, are adoptable. So it's been great.
The other thing we usually talk about is the wildlife. Look at the number under wildlife.
Right.
Euthanized wildlife 15. Are those all raccoons again?
Most of them are, yeah.
Are they with rabies or just?
Just temper usually. Usually if they are in somebody's yard and not moving, or in the public area and not moving, or acting weird, strange, fumbling around, something like that creates a public safety risk, we do go and get them euthanized.
Are all the vehicles at the bottom usable?
They are. So yeah, you'll see the top 2 vehicles are our newest vehicles. We also have another 2022 Dodge Ram that is not in the fleet yet. We're waiting on a box for that vehicle. That will eliminate the 2014, one of the 2014 trucks, and we'll also eliminate the van as soon as we get the other truck in fleet.
Is that reducing the number then of total you'll
We'll
have?
still have 4 vehicles.
You'll have 4. Okay. And they're all equipped and able to go out and do all these things that you need.
One of them will be a utility truck, so it'll just be a regular truck. We can put traps in, we can get donations and things like that. Just drive to meetings, or I was taking laundry out to the jail. Washing machine's currently broken, has been since July 4th as well. So
But you have a
it's
washing
great times
machine.
there. Yeah, no, we have no washing machine right now.
So you have 2 walls down, water leaking, but it can't get in the washing machine because it doesn't work.
Yes, yep.
Turn the page over and we'll look at the, this is another number we'll talk about in a little bit, is stray for the month of June. You were, would I say you picked up 41 stray animals?
Yes.
And that would be, they would be stray, meaning that they're wandering around or in
Well, there's 42 dogs and 4 cats that were strays.
But interestingly, of those, is that the number 32 that was returned of those?
Yes.
They are the same animals.
Yes.
So they were stray, they weren't home, they got out of the fence, whatever it is, they came to you, and then the owner came and picked them up.
Yes. So what we've been doing recently as well is to try and get the dogs out of our building. We either cut down costs somehow on returning them, or we write them a citation for failure to pay. So they pay partial, and then we write them a citation, and they can pay up until the court date. And if they pay before the court date, then the citation goes away. Just to get the dog out of the building and help people along with getting their dogs out and paying or cats out and paying the fees.
And helping the animal too, because
Correct.
it's frightening.
It's a stressful environment for all of them.
Yeah. So then the last thing on this report we often talk about is euthanasias, and again, of the 9, 6 were persons bringing their animals in for whatever reason to be euthanized. So is there any other idea on this report, either side, that you have a question? Ms. Parker, are you let me think about 8, gotcha, okay.
Carrie, I'm always worried about bites. And,
would you move your microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm concerned about bites from the animals. Are they mainly from the dogs, or do sometimes cats, I know they scratch and can cause infection?
I believe we've had 3 cats recently, so they do bite. Usually it's the owners are grooming them, or sometimes it's a stray and they bite. But yeah, their cats and dogs do bite. Most of them are dogs, and so they have to sit in our building for 10 days, or 10 days from the time of the bite. Pay $25 a day per day for board, $100 fee and fine for not having the dog current, and $20 microchip. So it's close to $500 by the time it's all said and done, because your dog's not current and bit.
I have another question, if you don't mind. Are the bites, how serious are the bites? Do they require any of the people to be hospitalized? Because I know sometimes people can have a really bad reaction from a dog bite or a cat scratch or whatever.
So oftentimes if the bite is taken care of right away, there's no reaction depending on the severity of the bite. However, if we had one recently, the dog bit, I want to say 5 days prior, and the person didn't go in, and then it got infected, so they had to be on IV antibiotics.
Okay.
So it's best that, especially in cats, because their teeth are sharper and they go down deeper, that you go get it checked right away.
Right away, yes. Okay.
And if you keep your dog or cat current, you don't have to have the dog or cat at our building. You can do a quarantine at home, and it helps out everybody in that situation.
Quarantine at home, it helps a lot, doesn't it, for everybody?
Are they mainly animals that they're not running loose and just running in a backyard and biting a child? Or
most of them are to their owners or somebody in their own house. There have been, oftentimes it is somebody who's walking by, or there's strays that get loose, but I'd say the majority of them are owned animals by they bite their owners.
Okay.
Or something similar like that. It's a situation where, you know, the dog has a sore foot, the person grabbed the foot, or the kid grabbed the foot, or something like that.
Yeah. So we don't have a lot of running at large kind of animals out there biting people, you know.
I'd say it's probably 70-30.
Okay.
70 at home.
Yeah, there's a decent amount that run off their property and do bite, or they are off their property when they bite, or they get enticed somehow off their property to bite.
Just worried about some of the joggers that are out there that those dogs are still chasing them and nipping at their heels.
You've reported that before.
I have, yes, and I haven't heard from the person who was overjoyed because of the ordinance. So I haven't heard from him, so I think maybe perhaps the owner has got the message not to let the dog run loose. Thank you, Carrie, so much.
So let's turn to something else. We, at the building committee, talked about the building for animal control. At finance, we talked about paying for it. That was a good thing, wasn't it? So, and at other meetings, we've talked about the plans and everything about it. But today, we have Carrie. So here's my comment. We have talked about that this building is called Kankakee County Animal Control Building, right? It's not called Kankakee County Pet Shop, right? Correct. So when you first came on as administrator, the focus was on regulate and enforce.
Correct.
Not necessarily grab and adopt. And you said yourself this morning, this is really the first time in a long time. And basically is because the next steps up are full already?
Yes.
Yes.
All shelters, most of them are full because people adopted a lot or returned their animals during COVID. So.
And so a recent article in the paper said 5 places you can adopt animals. And there are all these places, and I think you've used them in the past, or you go north from here, there are places to adopt animals. That's not your business necessarily.
No, it's not a moneymaker for us. Our adoption fee is $150, and generally on to spay a female at a shelter, it's $100. So, and we also include the rabies vaccine, and then a microchip. So we don't make money on adoptions. We like to have the shelters make the money on the adoptions. That way it keeps the dogs, you know, gets it out of our facility quicker usually.
And it's a cooperative effort, isn't it?
Yes.
The other thing that I want your expertise on is that for what reasons do the animals come into your shelter or space? Is because why? They have either gotten in trouble somewhere or other, they bit somebody, they are injured, they have some kind of malady or illness, or somebody has shunned them, or something's happened to them.
They're loose, yeah. Somehow their fence broke, or they broke the tether, or they got out from a house somehow, or a fence, something like that. I'd say, you know, the dogs we get in our facility aren't always the nicest. We do have lots of rabies quarantine animals that are aggressive to anybody that walks by the kennel. Cats can be as well. It's not always conducive to have people walking through our facility to look at the adoptable pets. That's why we post them online. We post them in the board in the lobby, just so you can see the pets on there, and we try and take the dogs outside into our fenced-in area, and that way they're not walking through the facility and getting the dogs riled up, because familiar faces through the facility are easier for the dogs to handle. They know you, they know your smell. Somebody new, they're going to all start barking. Once one barks, then they all start barking. So it gets stressful.
And it's distressful, isn't it, for them?
Yes.
So what Carrie has done, and I really am proud of her, that she worked together with the planners on the floor plan. And what you have attempted to do, and that's what I would like you to share this morning, is what are the perks, the places in this facility that you have made special so that the frightened animals, the sick animals, the dangerous animals, what's here that has accommodated that? What have you planned?
So currently in our shelter, all the dogs go out through the same room that the cats are in. So then if they don't get along, cats get scared, dogs want to eat cats, they're going out through the same door. So the dogs here have indoor-outdoor runs. So they go outdoor. It's like a guillotine door you lift up. They have access to the outside. They don't have to have any interaction with the cats. When we do adoptions, they could walk by a cat or two, but it's usually they'll be behind a closed door. They won't be able to have any access to them. Right now, they're all just in cages when they walk by the doors. There is where it says rabies area in the right back corner. That's for dogs who are on rabies quarantine. We have them away from everybody else. They're closest to an empty lot. They're not close to the play yard. They can't interact with anybody else just because they're on rabies quarantine. We don't want to have them have access to anybody else. The open cat room in the very beginning, that will be a room for happy, healthy, adoptable pets. So they'll be in a socialization room where they'll be not in cages. They will be caged during the night, but during the day they'll be able to walk around freely on couches, chairs, things like that, interact with each other. The lab and euthanasia, those are close together too. They'll be quiet where you can go through the garage and directly into the lab or the euthanasia room. That way we don't have to walk them by all the barking dogs. It's stressful for them again, and they come in that facility there. So, and then the outside goes directly to another play yard, which will be very beneficial as well. The vet room, so there are vet rooms for cats and dogs, because again, once dog smells cats, cat smells dogs, they don't always like the same smells in the same room. So it's helpful to have 2 separate rooms there.
The other was, and 2 other things. One is the vehicle bay,
Yes.
where at other places that have adoption, sometimes when they're going in or out the door, the dog escapes. Or I've been in a situation at a place, not yours, but where a person was giving back the animal, adopted it and then brought it back, and the dog saw where it was going back to and escaped onto the road and was hit by a car.
Sure,
So
yeah.
how you're going to prevent that by?
So yeah, that'll be for fractious animals as well. So you can pull in the vehicle, the garage bay, and then unload the animal there and goes directly into intake or sees the vet or however it works. So it'll be nice to have a garage. We currently have a garage, but it is used for cats right now. No vehicle can fit inside there.
Oh.
Cats in storage.
Cats are in there too. And then one of the things that Carrie mentioned at another meeting is that what things she feels really bad for is the floor is cement, which is really, cement's hard for our needs and things. So what does that react to an animal?
So, I mean, it'll create sores on there if they're there long enough. We do give them blankets, although it's been hard to without a washing machine right now. They do have blankets on the floor. And the new facility, there'll be a cement floor, but it'll be epoxy. They'll have access to beds and more blankets and stuff like that, plus indoor, outdoor. So they'll be able to go indoor, outdoor as well. Yeah, it's hard on the animals, especially the rabies quarantines, because we don't give them blankets, because if they swallow a piece of it, we have to assume, and they have a reaction to it, we have to assume that it's a rabies reaction and they can be euthanized. So we do not give rabies quarantine pets anything extra besides what they come in with. So
they're not happy little animals that are there. There's something going on with them, right?
Usually, yeah. And a lot of the times lately, the owners have not been reclaiming their, so not always, but we've had 3 or 4 that I've tried to get to take care of animals back, and that way we put them on Facebook and we let you know that we know who you are, come claim your animal. Maybe they'll be more apt to take their animal back.
So last of all, then we'll go back to that number 552,000. What are you going to use that for? What on this plan?
So that'll be paying for the building and the lot.
And it won't use it all up.
Correct.
You won't use it all up.
Correct.
And then we talked about bonds at a different meeting. How are you going to make the payments on the bonds?
So every year we've had more excess revenue over expenditures, so that'll be hopefully the same each year. So that'll be set aside and we're paying for the bond out of that.
So but the good news is there are other grants and there's other BARC money, and
Correct.
so it's all been given to us financially, that it's covered. And I know you're still a little tentative about it, but you've been assured that
it's scary to me just knowing that it's this huge building we're going into. I don't want to go in and fail, although I've been reassured we're not going to fail. It's hard for me to wrap my head around going from this small building that's manageable into a large building, but I know we can do it. It's just, I'm looking forward to having the pets there and the staff there in a building that is not falling apart.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
How many can you accommodate? Is it
roughly 40 dogs, maybe more in smaller cages, and probably around the same cats.
And therefore, the look is that will bring in revenue. If you have animals in house, somebody's being charged for their being there.
Correct. So hopefully we'll get to generate more contracts with that as well.
And timeline, Mr. Wheeler, how are we on the timeline that was presented to us? Did the plan commission hasn't met yet? July 28th is when that is.
27th. It got changed.
Potentially 27th. Okay. And then there's hearings and special use. So just because the county board has approved things, there's still other things to be approved. Is that right?
Correct. It's mid-August. We'll know if from the Village of Bradley, if it passes the Village Council, the board, and if it does, then all of our agreements are triggered. and then we go to the closing process. At that point, we're just running to daylight. After that, we'll still have to come back and approve the final. There's, I believe, 3 full votes on the bond. So we had one, we're gonna have another one this coming month, and then the final one. That'll be after this, but that it's more, I wanna say ceremonial, if you will, but that's when we go sell the bonds at that point, so.
I just correction, you said Village of Bradley.
I said Village Bradley?
Yeah.
Sorry, Bourbonnais.
They know who they are.
Yeah, they know who they are, yeah.
And
Definitely not Bradley. So, we're moving forward. The first major hurdle was knowing that we could purchase this building with $0 that come from local property taxes. That's, to me, the best story, beyond the fact that we have a building that is not falling in on itself, that has capacity for future growth in the population that may be housed in that facility. So, all in all, and it's the perfect location. It couldn't get any better, you know.
It's a blessing for sure, wasn't it? You feel that way, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, when we were, over the years, we've met and we met and met and met, and this is just such a pretty beautiful thing to have.
It's the furthest we've gone, so I'm happy with the way it's going.
Yeah, why we've been talking through is this is how to pay for it and what the timeline is, and the last date on here is that September 13th. That's our board meeting in September to finally approve it. So, and then but in the meantime, can any fixing up go on to the building?
I believe they said once we have the keys to the building, we can start doing stuff we needed, but they talked about trying to put the construction package all in one. It's cheaper that way. So, I mean, we personally could probably go in there and to do some things, but as construction-wise, you know, it's cheaper to put it all together.
Sure. And the plans were grand, weren't they? You were pleased with that. So, okay, we've spent some time on this, but it's a great project and good to talk about it and what you're using. You have worked so hard in planning. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, thank you for that. Ms. Parker, you want to add anything to all that?
Just so excited about the facility in progress right now. Well, we've been hoping for this for many years, and we're happy for Carrie and the staff to be able to work in a very a convenient location, first of all, and accessible, as well as having everything that they need for both the staff and the animals there. AWAC, we're just moving forward with maybe some planning and talking where we're going to go next. I know that the committee themselves are very happy about the new facility at all. They're just overjoyed, and it's a win-win for everyone, animals and community. Thank you.
Thank you too. Okay, let's look at our agenda. Agenda is mentioning old and new business. So, Ms. Polk, there you are. I want to, before you say anything, the reason I invited Ms. Polk to be on the agenda and we're talking about it is for congratulations and adulation. I just appreciate your work so much. She is the foundation chairman of the Martin Luther King Foundation. She has spent a part of her life helping others and young people get to school, honoring people through pageants and competitions and scholarships. And this year was really special for Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship. So I wanted to bring that up and give just a few minutes of it and for people who helped with that. This year we were able to gather through donations and activities $8,750 for scholarships. That is a good number, isn't it, Ms. Polk?
Yes, it is.
8,750. And what did that do? It helped 13 students have scholarships in the amounts of $1,000 or $750 or $500. 13 students in our county received scholarships that may not have come to them otherwise and may not have helped them get to school otherwise. Ms. Polk's good idea is that the money goes to the school once you've been registered. Is that accurate?
That's true.
Okay, so that
we don't give it to you in your hand. We want to make sure you're registered.
Yes,
and we send it directly to the school.
And that's good advice and good help too, and that's works best. But then the last thing I'd like to mention is, how did that work out in the county then? What happened? So 2 scholarships were awarded to Bradley Bourbonnais Community High School students, and Dan Hendrickson even presented that award at their honors night. 2 scholarships went to Bishop McNamara High School, and Mr. Craig Long of our county board presented those on honors night. 5 scholarships went to Kankakee High School, and Michael O'Brien and Dave Barron of the City Council presented those. Manteno High School, Tinker went to their honors ceremony and presented a student scholarship, and Representative Jackie Hawes went to Momence High School and presented that one. Then I was able to go to St. Anne High School and to Trinity Academy and present high school scholarships on their honors night. So every student of those 13 were at a special ceremony just for them, to honor them for Martin Luther King ceremony. And so to you, Ms. Polk, I say thank you. Thank you for your service to the community. You are a community service person. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I just want to say this to you. Thank you very much for stepping up. And when I asked you, would you be the scholarship chairperson, you said yes. I said, oh God, thank you, somebody can help me. And so I turned it all over to you, and you've been great. And I appreciate that. And I definitely appreciate the county board people that helped make that possible, because we haven't ever given that many scholarships before.
So that brings
and I
us
appreciate it.
To the next thing is, if every one of you wants to donate to that foundation scholarship, you're sure welcome, right, Ms. Polk?
Yes.
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 Anything else to add? Okay. I know Jasmine is here. I'm going to hold up this sign, and can you last of all come to the microphone and give us an update on that survey, and that you need 10,000 more people to take it, or what would you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, so the survey is open. It's the Kankakee County Community Needs Assessment. We've been all over handing out flyers. You should see them. I hope you'll see them in your neighborhoods, in your libraries, churches. So if you don't, then that means that we need your help in sharing the survey. So we would really appreciate that help as well. So the survey is to really help target, identify local needs in our community, in our county. We're partnering with the City of Kankakee and Respark Consulting Services, but it's open through July 31st, and we really need participation and feedback to take it. So it's going to help target funding and identify key needs. So thank you.
Thank you a lot. And so again,
and it is on our Facebook page, it's on the website, but it will be open again. If you need help or point in the direction, just reach out to us where to take it.
You know, I'd like to say this, I took the survey, but for some reason they kicked me out because of the last question.
The last question was, did you want to be on?
Is that the question about the newsletter? We have heard feedback about that.
No, the last question that kicked me out, and I don't think you got the information, was wanting to know about the meetings on the 27th or something like that.
Yep,
oh, the focus group question.
Yeah,
okay, the focus group question. So we just say just skip over that question, or just say no, or I would actually advise to refresh your screen. So, and then probably submit from there. It's probably just a technical issue.
Could you try again?
Because I'm going to have surgery that day, so those days I'm doing some stuff, so I couldn't go.
But your ideas on the other 6 questions, or how many ever there are, that are important. So try it again, and if not, you'll be in touch with her, will you, please?
Yeah, I can give you a call, Ms. Polk. You have my number.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Wheeler, would you just one last update of what happens next week? What are the things that will be going on?
Well, just first of all, we're gonna make sure that the survey was submitted. If it was the last question, we still might have got the results. So that's the first thing, Dr. Polk, is we'll check and see if we got your results first. We're working backwards from the root, so or towards the root cause. And if other people are having this problem, we need to know it. So that'll be a call we make immediately when this is over with. The second thing, we knew we had a problem with the mailing list. We fixed that right at the very beginning. I think even before it launched, it was like we found that. This is concerning because we're a week into it and we're just hearing about this. So the other thing is we're doing focus groups with different different, well, to be redundant, groups of people around, and they're going to be at KCC. We're doing different ones with different, different interest levels or areas of focus, if you will. But then on the 27th, after we've got all that data input, after we've got, I don't want to say like a semi-good arm around what the community thinks are the most important things we need to address, the last step is on the 27th, getting people that have been part of all these different meetings together to almost rank them and really prioritize and look for the ones that are either connected or should be connected, because that will give us a good idea what the low-hanging fruit is that we want to address and attack and fund and have go, whether it's via COVID dollars with the city, us alone, us with other municipalities, all municipalities, or just as a standard operating procedure we need to do, whether we have COVID money or not, and which is easy to say. State of Illinois says that a lot, but then they don't give you any money to do it. So we'll at least have that identified. This is a really important process.
It is.
Not just for us designing grants that we want to use to move the needle on things that cost us a lot of money and cost families a lot of pain, but then also, what do we want to do over the next 10 years? And what are the things that are unique to us or just like everybody else? So.
And each person I talk with about the survey, just saying everyone has an opinion. What we need are those opinions. Data in, data out is what it'll be. So, and have any of you been willing to serve on a focus group, or have you attended? I know a couple people, and I'll be going Monday, I think, to a focus group, and after that too. So if you get that opportunity, say yes, because your opinions are very important, and I look forward to this coming together. What's the important ideas, and how can we make them into programs and helping people out? So, okay, anything else at all? Ms. Polk, what would you like to do? Would you like to move that we adjourn?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Hudson's going to second that too. All in favor, say aye.